I've been seeing people talk about creating their own personal curriculum lately, kind of like building a self-guided study plan for life, and I instantly fell in love with the idea. But instead of focusing on productivity or career skills, I wanted to make mine about cozy creative living. Learning things simply because they bring joy, spark curiosity, and help me feel more connected to my everyday life. So, in today's video, I'm sharing how I'm building my own gentle, cozy curriculum for the season, the subjects I've chosen, how I'm structuring it, and how you can create one for yourself too. Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Melanie Steele, and I write all things cozy. My debut cozy fantasy novel, The Lunar Quartz Library, is releasing this Thursday, the 30th of October. I think as adults, we sometimes forget how to learn just for the joy of it. When we're younger, learning feels magical. It's about discovery and curiosity. But as we grow up, it becomes about qualifications, deadlines, outcomes. And somewhere along the way, that soft sense of wonder just fades. Lately, I've been craving a slower, more intentional rhythm to my days. Something that feels nourishing rather than demanding. Because none of us wants yet another thing on the dreaded to-do list. So this idea of building my own personal curriculum, one that isn't about self-improvement, but about self-enrichment, that's perfect. For me, cozy creative living is about noticing the small details, the soft feel of a blanket strewn across an armchair in my office, cozy fairy lights casting a warm, soft glow on the books in my bookcase, or the feeling of making something with my hands like bread or baking. Learning in this sense becomes a way to connect more deeply with the world around me. When I sat down to design my own curriculum, I asked myself one simple question. What would I want to learn if there were no grades, no expectations, just curiosity? The answers didn't come immediately. I thought about this question for a good few days before deciding which ideas would make the final cut, so to speak. I had to consider the limits of my time and energy. I'm currently writing book number 2 in my cozy fantasy series, which will use up a lot of both. But I wanted to balance that with other activities to feel more balanced in my day. And all the ideas I've come up with have one thing in common. They make me feel grounded, inspired, and quietly creative. The first thing on my list is learning how to read oracle cards. I've always loved the kind of symbolism and the intuition behind them. The idea that pulling a card can invite reflection or help you tune into your own inner wisdom. I was going to focus on tarot, but I'm not quite ready for that. Perhaps next year or next semester. I'm treating this almost like a spiritual language class, learning the meanings of the cards, keeping a journal of daily pulls, and exploring how intuition kind of feels in my body. It's not about prediction, but connection, a quiet dialogue between me and the universe. I bought the Wisdom Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reid after watching a free 3-day workshop she did a while back. The cards felt very intuitive and clear to me, even when I was using the free digital version. So I've got those to use for this particular lesson. Next is something completely different, but equally cozy. I'm going to learn how to quilt. I've always been drawn to slow, tactile crafts, things that take time and presence. My nan taught me how to hand sew when I was little and I loved it. I was attracted to quilting, I think, because it feels like storytelling through fabric, All the stories I've read online about people making quilts for things like weddings, births, and other special events, the fact that they often become heirlooms that are added to is just such a cozy, wonderful thing to add to my curriculum. Of course, this is a craft that needs a certain level of sewing proficiency. I picked up a sewing machine during lockdown and soon discovered that there is something very soothing about the repetition, the textures, the way a pattern slowly comes to life. But like many hobbies we all picked up in that time, it kind of fell to the wayside. I have dug my machine out. I just need to refresh my memory on how to use it, and I'm good to go. My plan is to start with a small project to practice the techniques on a smaller scale before committing to a full-size quilt. And finally, I am adding reading craft books about writing to my curriculum. I didn't want to include writing itself because this isn't about productivity or output, but I do love studying the craft from a gentle, more reflective place. I thought about doing The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, but it just felt a bit too much to do the whole course right now, with all the exercises and the artist dates. Instead, I have lots of other books about storytelling, creativity, and the writing life, and I plan to read them, but slowly. Maybe just a chapter or two a week, and reflect on what resonates. It's less about learning how to write better or faster, and more about falling in love with writing all over again. I have opted to use my Erin Condren planner to track and organise my cozy curriculum. I know most people use a blank notebook, but I like the fact that the Erin Condren planner is already divided up into 3 sections, so I can separate my work things, my personal appointments, and now curriculum stuff from one another. For my Oracle stuff, I already have a notebook for daily pulls, which I will continue to use. Quilting itself doesn't really need a lot of written notes, and obviously reading craft books, I can either make notes in an existing notebook, of which I have many, or add them into the Scrivener file where I'm currently writing. I am not following a rigid schedule. Generally speaking, I write in the mornings and do admin in the afternoons. I already pull an Oracle card before I write, so that's accounted for. Quilting is likely to be a weekend project, and reading craft books, again, likely to be evenings and weekends. I'll be taking it week by week, essentially, when I do my planning. I am giving myself full permission to move slowly, to wander, and just enjoy the process rather than focusing on the outcome. I think that's the key to cozy learning. It's meant to feel like a soft unfolding, not a checklist. If this idea speaks to you, you can absolutely build your own cozy curriculum too. Start by asking yourself what you would love to learn just because. Not because it's useful, not because it looks good on a CV, but because it lights you up. Maybe it's baking, watercolour painting, or learning about local folklore. Oh, that's a good one actually. Maybe an idea for next year. Maybe it's reading about a certain historical period that you love, learning the names of trees in your neighbourhood or local woodland. Whatever it is, make it tactile, make it sensory, and make it slow. Create a little space in your home and in your week to explore it. And if you can, document it, not for content, not for results, but just for yourself. For me, this whole idea is about romanticizing learning again, letting curiosity lead the way and finding joy in small discoveries. Whether it's pulling a daily oracle card, sewing together those little squares of fabric, or reflecting on the art of storytelling, each subject feels like a love letter to creativity. If you decide to create your own cozy curriculum, I would love to hear what subjects you're going to include. Share them in the comments and maybe we can inspire each other to keep learning gently and learning together. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here and you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. I upload a topic video every Tuesday and a vlog every Thursday. I'll see you soon. Bye.